but you can't get the good without the bad. So if you don't know what bad you're wishing on yourself, then just don't wish for any of it at all. Focus on you, bring it back to you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Farah. I don't know why I just did that with my hands. That was really weird. But yeah, hi, welcome. Today we are getting stuck straight back in with another Desi Girl Chats video. You guys came through this time, let me tell you. You always do, to be honest, you always do. But boy, are you guys dealing with some things right now, and we are just going to get straight into the video. If you guys don't know what one of these are, we are essentially talking about your dilemmas that you sent me in through Instagram. I do ask you guys every so often on my stories to send me in things that you're struggling with at the moment that you want to discuss from like a Desi girl point of view, just things that we deal with in general as girls in the Asian community. Yeah, haven't seen anything like this done on YouTube, and I just wanted to build that kind of community and get us talking about things that we're struggling with. So yeah, if you guys like videos like this, definitely give this one a thumbs up and let me know. As always, I will be keeping everyone anonymous, so don't ever worry about sending me anything. I'll never ever like reveal who sent it. I'll never give out names or anything like that. Yeah, so let's get started. Just so you know, I do have my laptop and I've like saved all the questions on here because I'm filming on my phone, and obviously Instagram's on my phone. Yeah, we got quite a lot to get through. I'm gonna try and answer as many of you guys as possible. Why do I look like Hagrid? I literally look like Hagrid. What's going on with my hair? What do I do about it? Should I tie it? I don't know. Okay, let's just leave it. By the way, I only put the story up about half an hour ago, and already so many of you guys have sent me stuff, so I'm not really reading any more up until this point, but if more come through, I might go ahead and do another part to this with all the new ones. So what's wrong with my hands today? God knows. Anyway, okay, so on with the first one. Making friends at uni. I live at home and it's been so bad. I sit alone on breaks. I know you'll say just talk to people in your course. Yeah, right, I tried. They say hi and then they vanish. I'm guessing it says vanish. I know I can't force things, but being lonely and nobody to talk to is sometimes the worst. Okay, so this girl sent in a couple things because it doesn't fit into one question box, I guess. Oh, that's so sad. So you're at uni and you're essentially just having a hard time making friends. The fact that you live at home, I think, makes a massive difference in that, especially as an Asian girl. You probably have a lot more responsibility at home, I'm guessing, especially if you have younger siblings. Your parents are generally going to be quite worried if you're staying out late. They're going to be wondering like what you're up to, what you're doing. Generally, I feel as a whole, Asian parents are just more involved in your life. Obviously, I'm just speaking like in a biased way, I guess, because I don't know what it's like living as anything but an Asian girl. But I feel like in general, we can all relate to the fact that our parents are very heavily involved as a young Asian woman, still living in their household. So I totally sympathise with the fact that you're struggling to make friends as well at uni. Uni is not an easy place at all to be for a lot of reasons. It's hard because I didn't live at home while I was at university. I left and I lived quite far away. A lot of the reason behind that is because my parents actually encouraged me to. They wanted me to apply to the specific uni that I went to, and they were really, really happy for me to go and study there. So I had no issues with leaving home. But because I was living at uni, I kind of had no choice but to like go out, meet people, just like really get to know people really well, especially in the first year. I made some really, really good friends and I was out a lot. I was socializing as much as I could because I kind of just thought that was all uni was about, really, in the initial stages at least. I guess it was easier to do that because I was away from home. I didn't have to be home at a certain time. I didn't have any other responsibility but looking after myself. So yeah, I know that my experience of uni was very different compared to how it would have been had I have lived at home while doing it. Having said that, my parents have also been to university, so I do feel like that would have had an impact in the sense that I feel like hopefully they would have been a bit more lenient and understanding when I wanted to do certain things because they have been in that position previously, and yeah, they've been to uni, so they know like what goes down and what it's about, really. I don't know in your position whether your parents have been to uni, whether they kind of know what's going on, if they're kind of on your case a bit about it. I don't know too much information, but the fact that you're struggling to make friends tells me that maybe you're just purely not spending enough time or getting enough exposure to people at university, because I guess you're just going to classes and then it's kind of really difficult to talk to people in lectures themselves, because obviously the lecturer's talking, you don't want to get in trouble. People are just like busy taking notes or sleeping or just doing their own thing. Especially if you don't know anybody, it's not really the place to kind of just start randomly making conversation and making friends. The place where you do get to know people from like the educational perspective of uni is in seminars, which are much smaller groups of people where you often do group work. I don't know if all unis have that set up, but at least mine did. So I definitely did get to speak to my peers on a more, like direct level compared to just in a lecture, sitting and listening to the lecturer, because you never really get that interaction. It's not available really, you're just being talked at the whole time. So I would say if you have seminars that you can go to, definitely get involved with those and get involved with any like group activities, and gradually the more you work with people and talk to people, you can develop friendships that way as well. But it's not all about talking to people just on your course, and I know you said that I would suggest that, and that is something I would suggest, and it is a good idea to make friends with people on your course, because A, they can help you when you're struggling, and they know your struggle because they'll know how hard the course is, they know what you're doing. B, it's more likely that you'll have similar interests and just similar things about you in general because you've picked the same course. But that's not necessarily the case, and there is definitely no reason why you can't make friends with like other people that aren't on your course. But of course you have to be exposed to them. So if you're literally just going to lectures every day and then coming straight home, you're not going to get exposure to the different types of people that are at uni, and potentially the best friends that you can make, which maybe aren't on your course, but people that you've just purely not met because of circumstance. So what I would really suggest is try and get involved in social things like societies, sports teams, and just anything outside of your degree that you can get involved with. Even like get a part-time job at uni. You can meet so many people from there. I got a good few part-time jobs while I was at university, and I made such good friends from working. So you wouldn't even think that you would meet people through like working a part-time job at uni, but when you get a job through the university, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be working with people who also study at the university and are basically in the same position as you. So you will meet people who are on different courses and are from different backgrounds, and it'll just give you better exposure to other people, plus you're making money at the same time. So it's a win-win really. So yeah, I would definitely suggest trying to find a part-time job at your uni. Most unis do all kinds of jobs depending on like the area that you're interested in. I would just like research a bunch, go on your student union's website, see what's about, and try and apply for something. Also get involved with societies, like I said. So if there's anything that particularly interests you, it could be career related, sports related, just general interest related. It could be related to there's a lot of like cultural societies if you're into that kind of thing. Yeah, just get involved with as many as you can. You'll meet so many different types of people there. You'll just get a better exposure to different people, which means that you're more likely to find the people that you gel with and get along with really well. And then in turn, you'll just develop that better relationship with others and build up your own network and just people that you enjoy being around, and you won't feel so alone. But it's just really about putting yourself out there. I understand the situation entirely, and it's not a nice thing being alone at uni, and just it's already quite an isolating feeling. It's a very new experience, but it should be a really great one, and I want you to enjoy it. Uni is such an amazing experience, but it is what you make it at the same time. So just please like try and branch out, just try different things, try the job, try sports, go to any sporting events, or try and get involved with that if that's your kind of thing. If you're not into sports, then obviously don't force it, but just try and find like something that involves what you're genuinely interested in outside of your degree, and I promise you'll find some like really like-minded people and get that group of friends that you're waiting for. But yeah, all the best. I hope that helped, and good luck, and I'm sure you'll meet some great people along the way. The next one says, I'm Pakistani and scared to tell my family I want to marry a Bengali guy. Ooh, okay, drama. Okay, this is weird for me because I am half Pakistani, half Bengali. So yeah, it is possible, it happens. I get the worry, but what worries me more is the fact that like why are you scared? It should not really be an issue anymore, these kinds of things. I know that they are, but it's just kind of frustrating, right, that it's even an issue. And I 100% get it, because my parents obviously were in the same position, and I know that didn't go down very well. But obviously they're a whole other generation, so I would hope that in my generation, assuming that you are in my generation, which it looks like you are, I would hope that that wouldn't be so much of an issue anymore. I mean, as long as the guy is Muslim and you're Muslim, like I feel like as long as you're same faith, you have the same like values and morals and just life goals, it shouldn't really matter where you come from. I just don't see I don't see how that comes into the equation, because I don't see where you come from, how that makes a difference in like what kind of person they are, whether they're a good guy, whether they have good morals, whether they respect you. Like that doesn't come about based on whether they're Pakistani or not, or that just comes from like being brought up well and being taught to treat people well, and like just having the characteristics that you see in the person that you want to marry. And that can come from like any background, any country, it really doesn't matter. So I have a hard time understanding why people still have an issue with like just essentially people marrying from different backgrounds. It blows my mind. But if I was in your position, I'd be tempted to bring up the idea with, well, I would tend to go to my mum, because she's a lot easier to talk to about things in that area. I guess like because it's your mum, you have girly chats and things like that. So hopefully if you have that kind of relationship with your mum, I would just like subtly drop in just theoretical scenarios and see how she responds, and gauge it that way. Because a lot of the time your own fears about things are like just in your head, but when it actually like comes into play in real life, you realize that you probably just overthought about the whole situation. Things aren't actually as bad as you think they're going to be. So you saying that you're scared, but why are you scared? Has something actually happened or been said that has made you feel that way? Or are you just worried in general and just think all these things are going to happen, but you don't really know for sure how they would react? So if that's the case, then I would say just subtly drop these like hypothetical scenarios, like make it a bit jokey. This is something I would do personally if I was in that position and I wanted to know how they would react, or whether they would react badly or not. I would just drop it in conversation randomly and just make it a joke, or like try and feed it into a conversation, just see the reaction. And then depending on what reaction you get, you can kind of gauge how to go about it. And honestly, if this kind of links to something I've talked about in a previous girl chat, and I will link that video down below, because I went into a whole spiel about just marriage in general, and when you're choosing the right person and you're worried about your parents type of thing. And I won't like speak too much on that as well, because I'm in fear of repeating myself. But essentially, if you know that you want to marry this person, before you ever introduce them to your family, or before you even think about kind of doing what I said and like dropping it in conversation, you need to know in your heart of hearts that no matter what goes down, you know this person's right for you and you know you want to be with them. Because if it comes down to fighting for that person, you want to know deep down that you're fighting for the right thing, and you have no doubt in your mind that this is the person that you're meant to be with. And if that rings true with you, then yeah, by all means go for it and just see what happens. And your parents will see your happiness, and they'll know that that person brings you happiness, and they will understand, because they want you to be happy at the end of the day, and they want you to be with someone that makes you happy. Sometimes it just comes down to having an open conversation and just laying everything out on the table, if you are in the position where you're ready to get married at the moment. But what I would say is like just drop the hints, the feelers, just see what vibe you're getting from the whole situation, and then decide how you're going to act upon it. And also make sure that you're really sure about this person, and make sure you spent time getting to know them, and you're just you know what you're getting yourself in for. Because the worst thing you can do is kind of drop that bomb in your family if they are very uncomfortable with the idea, and then you yourself not be sure if it's actually the right thing for you, or do you know what I mean? So yeah, be sure in your heart of hearts first this is what you want, and then proceed with caution to act upon your wishes. Yeah, I hope that helped. Did I even give some advice there? I'm not even sure. I kind of rambled a little bit, but yeah, all the best with that. I know how hard these things are. I'm not married yet, but you know, one day hopefully. I haven't really had that to deal with, so I'm trying to give advice as if like trying to put myself in that position and how I would act. But yeah, I would always say your parents do know. They know what's good and right for you, so don't be blindsided by the fact that you're like smitten with this person. Also, do take your parents' opinions on board and their advice. I'm not saying like just be like ruled by other people's thoughts and feelings about your relationship and what you want to do with your life, but I do think it's important to just sometimes take a step back and notice if other people think that something's not going to work or it's not quite right, or they just see faults in it, to just kind of analyze that for a little bit and try and understand where they're coming from, just to make sure essentially that you're making the right decision, because the last thing you want is to end up in a marriage that you regret, or you just wish you'd taken more time to kind of figure out if it was really right for you, rather than just launch yourself into it because of the feelings that you had at the time. But yeah, so the next one, it says, I don't feel like I'm pretty enough, skinny enough, just not good enough generally. That is so sad. I don't know why you feel like that. I don't know if someone has said that to you. If they have, they need a slap and a half. In general, I feel like society makes girls feel like that. This generation has it quite hard with the constant reminder on social media on how everyone else is living their lives, how everyone is looking so picture perfect all the time. It's very hard to not get caught up in that and to feel like you're inferior to everything that you see online. But let me tell you, you're not. 9 times out of 10, what you're seeing is like just not even real life itself. Everyone photoshops their images, everyone edits their images. Everything that you see online is a distorted version of the truth, and you should never not feel good enough. The fact that you're saying pretty enough, skinny enough, good enough, that's suggesting that you're comparing it to something that is making you not feel enough. And I'm going to guess that is just like social media in general and how you're viewing yourself in comparison to other people that you're seeing online. It's so difficult, because as someone who puts a lot of their life online and as a blogger who likes showing off like my fashion and beauty tips and doing my makeup, with all of that, I never want people to feel like just because they like how I do my makeup or like how I dress or whatever, or like a picture of mine, that would make them feel any less about themselves. And I hope to God that like nobody sees my pictures and thinks that, because that's the last thing I want, and that's not the message I want to be sending. And the reason I do videos like this is just to really remind you guys of like the fact that you are not alone in the situations that you come to me and ask for advice on. There are so many people going through the same things as you. I myself deal with things like that on a day-to-day basis, like just comparison, not feeling good enough, not feeling, just that self-love element is not always there, and it's kind of hard to just remind yourself of sometimes. You have to remember that no matter what anyone else is doing out there, you should never focus on it that much that is detrimental to yourself. Like, you are the most important thing to you. You should be the most important thing to you. Your body, your mind, just everything about your own being. You really need to protect and take care of yourself before anything else, because you can't help others without helping yourself first. There's that like analogy, what is it? When they say when you're on a plane, if the oxygen masks come down, you have to put on your own before you start helping others. Because if you don't and you faint because like lack of oxygen, how are you going to help other people? It's just not going to work. So you always have to put on your own oxygen mask and then proceed to help others. And that's like a life motto in general. You have to be able to help yourself and bring yourself up and feel good in yourself to be able to give back to other people. You should never give that much time and energy and just space in your mind to others in the world who you think you should look like or be like or act like whatever they're doing. You should never give that much attention to them and give less attention to yourself, because that's when that imbalance hits, that's when you start feeling really bad about yourself, because you're giving all this attention out and you're not giving any attention here, and the attention that you're giving to yourself is negative. And it should never be that case, because when you hit that imbalance, that's when things start to go really wrong, and then you start to have bad thoughts and bad feelings towards yourself, and it just kind of spirals out of control. So you have to end that cycle, and you have to remind yourself, no, bring it all back to me, focus on yourself, and focus on feeling good about yourself. It's a mind training thing. It's not something that just like clicks and instantly hits. You have to constantly train your mind every day, because the world we live in now is a world of comparisons, and it's a world of people feeling inferior to others, and the prettiest girl, or the girl with the blondest hair, or the bluest eyes, or the, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's constantly a competition against people that aren't even like their truest form on social media anyway, because they don't actually look like that in real life. They don't. That is just like point blank, and it's just crazy, because so many girls get worked up about these amazingly beautiful girls online, but these girls aren't real. Like, that's not what they look like in real life. It's not even them. So you're getting worked up about something that doesn't exist. Do you see how crazy that is? Like, it doesn't exist. And you're like beating yourself down because of something that you believe to be true and it isn't. So honestly, it's really just about training your mind. There's no quick fix to feeling good about yourself until you just really start to unravel why that is, and what habits that you've kind of ingrained that is psychologically damaging you and making you feel so bad about yourself, and feeling like you aren't good enough in comparison to others. And once you kind of get to the root of the problem, where maybe it's a particular person that you follow on social media that you just think is stunning and always looks perfect, and you know you have rough days, and it just makes you feel bad about yourself because they look like they're having such a perfect life. If that's the case, unfollow them, get rid of them. You don't need that in your life. You don't follow people on social media for it to make you feel bad. You follow people on social media who inspire you, who make you motivated to do better, who give you tips on things to improve your life, not for you to sit there and feel bad about how good their life is, or how good their life is looking, and how bad yours is in comparison. That's not what you use social media for, and I think a lot of people get that really, really wrong, and they don't use it for the right reasons. It's not that they mean to use it in that way, but it just becomes a bit of a habit and a bit of a way of like life without realizing it, and then it kind of gets too late to the point where you don't know how to stop, and it's a bit addictive, looking at all these pretty people and making yourself feel even like worse. So yeah, stop those habits, understand what those habits are first of all, understand where the root cause of your like unworthiness, where that's coming from, whether it is girls on Instagram, whether it's, I don't know, people that are taunting you in real life, and just try and remove yourself from those situations. Bring the attention back to yourself and stop focusing on other people in the world in general, because the only reason we start to feel bad about ourselves is because the amount of attention we're giving to others and the negative attention we're giving to ourselves. So yeah, once you start focusing more on yourself, on what you like and what's good about you and what you enjoy, and doing more of that, and just not leaving so much time for these comparisons and looking up what other people are doing and what they look like and things like that, you'll just become a lot more happy in general, I promise you. So yeah, please don't feel like you're not good enough, because first of all, everyone feels like that. No matter how pretty they are, how good they look online, trust me, they're all feeling like that, so you're not alone. You should remember that and think, well, if they don't feel good enough and I don't feel good enough because of them, then like, where's the line, you know? Like, everyone has their own insecurities and things that they're dealing with. So you should never feel like your insecurity is bigger than anyone else's, because it's really not. It's just the way we are. We're self-critical. You just need to get a bit of perspective sometimes, and just realize the grass isn't greener on the other side, and where you are right now is absolutely fine. You just need to learn to love it, and need to learn to love who you are, and stop chasing what other people have, because you don't actually realize the difficulties they're facing. And with all the glitz and the glamour comes a lot of dark things that you don't see. So never ever wish to have what someone else has, because you don't know what else you're wishing for alongside that. And it's really important to remember that, because you can wish for all the good things, but you can't get the good without the bad. So if you don't know what bad you're wishing on yourself, then just don't wish for any of it at all. Focus on you, bring it back to you, and love thyself. Thank you guys. So I just realised I rambled on a hell of a lot in this video, so I'm going to close this one out here, and I'm going to do a second part to this mini segment of my Desi Girl chats, because I do have a bunch more questions, but it's just not going to fit in one video, and I think it'd be easier to split them up. So with that being said, if you want to check out what would that be, part 6 now? Sorry, I've lost count. We've done a lot of these so far, but thank you to you guys so much for sending me in your dilemmas, and thank you for trusting me with like what you're going through. I really appreciate that you trust me enough to discuss it with me and want to talk about it, and I appreciate that you value my advice and even want to share it with me, so thanks a lot. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought, and if you have any advice for these lovely girls that have sent in their dilemmas, and see if you can help them, or if you agree, disagree with what I've said. I would love to discuss it in the comments, so definitely let me know. Please subscribe to this channel as well down below for more videos like this. Definitely head over to the next part of the series. I'll leave a link in the description box or something so you can check that out. And yeah, with all that being said, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye guys!